Want to know exactly what your Pinterest pin needs going into 2022? Today, I'm going to talk all about 5 things every Pinterest pin should have. Hi, my name is Jen Vasquez, and I help female entrepreneurs go from marketing overwhelm to an easy, streamlined marketing system that includes Pinterest and repurposing content to grow your business and book your ideal clients. If that's something that you're interested in, I'd love you to click that subscribe, hit the bell so you know every time I release a new video weekly on Wednesdays. If you're using Pinterest to drive traffic to your YouTube videos, your podcast, your blog, your lead magnets, your product, or your digital products, then you should definitely make sure you include these 5 things on every single pin graphic so that you have the best chance of getting seen on Pinterest. People use Pinterest to search for new ideas, be inspired, learn something. And as you may have heard, Pinterest is more of a search engine, even though it is a social media platform. As of July 2021, Pinterest had 478 million monthly active users. This means that you should absolutely have your business on Pinterest. 2 steps to have under your belt before you get started on a pin graphic is to make sure that your Pinterest is optimized. Make sure you're using keywords throughout your name, your profile description, all of your boards, using keywords that your ideal client is going to be typing into Google or Pinterest to make sure that you get found. And if you're a location-based business, make sure you use all of the areas that are your area. For instance, I'm in San Jose, California. That's also known as Silicon Valley or the Bay Area or even Northern California. So you want to use multiple keywords for location-specific businesses as well. Second, you want to ensure that you have a really good, complete, and constantly being updated keyword listing for all those things that your ideal client is searching for. You want to make sure you have a whole list together so that when you're creating pins, it is super easy to do so because you know all of the keywords that you want to use, and you can create totally different pins going to the same content that all has to do with the keywords. So we're going to talk about what a pin needs. But before we get started, I want to give you a personal invitation. If you've been watching YouTube videos or listening to podcasts or Instagram or Clubhouse, wherever you are consuming your information to learn more about Pinterest, I have an opportunity where you can learn everything that you need to know, including strategy for you, your business, and how you like to work. And you can do that all in a day. My VIP Pinterest strategy sessions are of 1 day, and you learn everything and you put it to use all at once so that you can actually start pinning properly and really bypass the learning that you have to do to figure out everything you need to know about Pinterest. And let me tell you, Pinterest has changed a ton over the last 6 months, and in fact, even more over the last 3 months. So I'll be putting that link below for you. So step 1, image. You want to use fresh images. And if you've spent any time recently on Pinterest over the last year, you know that fresh images mean anytime a single image has touched anywhere on your Pinterest site, anywhere. It's only fresh one time, so you want to be using different images all the time. So you don't want to reuse images that you've used on Pinterest before. And I might also try to avoid free stock images. If you have Canva Pro, you can use the Pro images. All you have to do is search by Pro images when you're looking for an image. You can also use your cell phone. I'm also a wedding photographer, and as long as you have great light, your cell phone can make some pretty incredible images, and they'll all be totally unique to your different content that you're creating. Another thing you can do is belong to a stock image company. My favorite is Social Squares, and I will have a link below for you to have their free trial. They're incredible because they have the most beautiful, effective, light, bright images I've seen anywhere on the internet for stock image companies. And they also have marketing lessons each month and caption templates each month. So they literally have it all. It's well worth the investment. That link will be below. Start by creating a 1500 by 1000 image. You can use that ratio sort of in any of the pixel numbers, but I like 1500 to 1000 because you can then use it as an Instagram story. You can use it in your blogs. It's really good high resolution at that size. You also want to try to consider using images that evoke what you're going to be teaching or giving or the problems you're going to be solving in the content that you are leading them to with this pin. For instance, if you're going to write a wedding makeup blog post, maybe use images of makeup or images of brides with their face done with makeup. That's something that will be quickly identifiable as the content that they're going to be looking at if they click on your pin. As your goal is to have all of the keywords and images that all sort of evoke what your content is going to be about, then Pinterest will serve it up to your ideal client. And you also want to have eye-catching or eye-pleasing type content for your ideal client. Images will help you to do that. The next step is step 2, use color. My advice, always for a really good eye-catching or eye-pleasing pin graphic, is to match the color or colors or a couple of the colors in your image for your text and call to action and website address and all that kind of thing. Doing that, whether you use like a color background with an image in the square on top and your text on the bottom, however you're going to create that pin, matching the colors of the text with one or two of the colors in the image will really help to go a long way to make a really beautiful, eye-pleasing pin. Tip 3, include your website. This is incredibly important. If it ever gets separated from the content and or you want to use it in your blog post or on social media in any way, having your website is just a smart thing to do. It's an easy way for people to find you. Using a logo, not so easy. Just looking at a certain logo doesn't mean I'm going to know what that company name is. Probably wouldn't take the time to search for that on the internet to find you. Having that website on there is incredibly helpful. And don't include the HTTPS or the www. Just do jenvasquezcoach.com. That's how you want to list it. Tip number 4 is text overlay. This is something that a lot of people miss. Especially like wedding photographers, we have beautiful images. We don't want to ruin them with text, but putting a text overlay gives people an immediate, within the first 2 to 3 seconds, to know exactly what they're going to be finding out about, learning about. What's going to happen if I click on this pin? What am I going to find? So consider these questions. What are people learning from your blog post? What is the blog post content about? How are you going to help them? What problems are you solving? Who is this for? Those are some text overlay or text titles that will be really helpful. You want to use keywords also in this title, again, because Pinterest takes the image, the text overlay, the title, the description, the link, and the content. They take it all to know who to serve it up to. So make sure you're specific. And when you make 2 to 5 pins, let's say, for each of your content, you want to make them all slightly different, have a slightly different context. So if you're creating something like a wedding photography something, you can say gorgeous elopement wedding in San Jose, California. Or you can say gorgeous summer wedding where the bride wore her boots. And you can do something like that for each and every one of the pins. It's all still going to the same content, but you have an opportunity for however many pins you make to get different people that would resonate with. It's a better way of having your content seen, clicked, and driving traffic to your content. The other thing is that, especially with wedding photography as an example, just using an image and not having that text overlay, oftentimes that pin is gonna get stuck on a 16-year-old's future wedding board rather than being seen by someone who's actually engaged and in your area and would maybe potentially hire you. Another thing you want to consider is make sure you're using very readable, bold-ish fonts. They doesn't have to be bold, but you want to make them big enough and to be visible, because 80 to 90% of people on Pinterest are coming from their cell phone. And so when the pin's on there, it's a whole lot smaller than on a computer. So you want to make sure that it's really visible. On the same context, when you're talking about cursive writing, it's beautiful and it looks really cool and it could be part of your brand, but do not use it for keywords within the title, because Pinterest actually reads the text on the title and typically we found doesn't do so well with cursive fonts, and people have a hard time reading it. So if you want to get your content seen and entice people, you want to make it very easy to read. You can use cursive fonts. I think they're beautiful, but you would want to use them in a decorative way. So maybe you have 3 tips to wedding makeup in San Jose or for brides. The 3 tips could maybe be in cursive because they're not integral keywords to the content that you're trying to draw people in to click on. You can use it in that decorative way. The other thing is you don't want to have too many words. 3 to 6 is kind of a good number. I'm not hard and fast about rules about the number of words, but you want to have the words not fill up the majority of the pin, right? And you want to use keywords in it. So make sure that you're using the least amount of words to still use keywords and still get your point across on why someone would want to click on it. Tip number 5 is the one that so many people miss out on, and that's call to action. You want to have a call to action, or a CTR as some people refer to it, on every single pin graphic. And don't just leave it as a call to action words. Also, maybe surround it with a different colored box so it looks more like a button, or include an arrow. People are very used to visual clues on what to do. So buttons and arrows work incredibly well because it gives people the signal to click. And also, you don't want to use the most obvious ones like click here, because everyone is doing that. Be different, stand out. In order to help you be creative, I do have a free list of 80 different call to actions, and you can get that by going to jenvasquezcoach.com/resources. I'll also have that link down in the bottom. The most effective way to drive traffic is to make sure that you are utilizing pin graphics and all these 5 tips to make sure that your pins are the best pins, the most quality pins, to be able to get clicks to drive people to your content. I would really love it if you would comment below and let me know which tips surprised you the most. Today we went over 5 things that every Pinterest pin graphic should have, and I hope that you found some of this helpful. If you want to dive deep with me, I do have a monthly group coaching program that's really affordable, and it's got 2 live coaching calls every single week. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that link down below. In the meantime, happy pinning.